The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you.
Jesus said to his disciples, "Be sure of this, if the master of the house had known the hour when the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be prepared, for at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come." Then Peter said, "Lord, is this parable meant for us or for everyone?" And the Lord replied, "Who then is the faithful and prudent steward whom the master will put in charge of his servants to distribute the food allowance at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master on arrival finds doing so. Truly I say to you, he will put him in charge of all his property. But if that servant says to himself, 'My master is delayed in coming,' and begins to beat the men servants and the maid servants, to eat and drink and get drunk, then that servant's master will come on an unexpected day and at an unknown hour, and will punish the servant severely, and assign him a place with the unfaithful. That servant who knew his master's will, but did not make preparations nor act in accord with his will, shall be beaten severely. And the servant who was ignorant of his master's will, but acted in a way deserving of a severe beating, shall be beaten only lightly. Much will be required of the person entrusted with much, and still more will be demanded of the person entrusted with more." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today is a fun feast day for me. I was an aspiring Jesuit, and so today we have these two courageous Jesuits who crossed all the way from France to go over to Canada into the native lands to preach the gospel. Like our Lord said, at an unknown or at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come. So following, just like St. Paul did, being pushed and propelled by the gospel, these Jesuits went out to Canada to preach to the Gentiles, to the natives there, to the Iroquois and the Mohawks. Yeah, so my dad was from Canada, so knowing that these two men, this whole company that went over to evangelize, has played a role in my life as well. I mean, not just by their inspiration, by their example, by their heroism. They suffered a lot for the preaching of the gospel. Isaac Jogues had his holy digits cut off so that he couldn't say Mass. And then he went back to France, and in a way similar to Blessed Stanley Rother, says, "No, I must be with them. I must go forth and preach the gospel." He went back to his preaching, and there was eventually killed. John de Brébeuf was killed by one of the natives that he was preaching to, who later converted. And I hope they're up in heaven waiting and rejoicing together. And so to preach the gospel, it costs us. Of course it's going to cost us. And Jesus said, "As it happened to me, so it will happen to you." But don't be complacent. Don't beat the men servants and the maid servants, right? Don't eat, don't get drunk, for at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come. Take care of those that I have entrusted to you. Of course, Jesus said this to Peter who represents the first pope. And so here in San Bernardino, we're carrying on the same church under Pope Francis with a history of popes. We're proclaiming this same faith as Isaac Jogues and John de Brébeuf and their companions as they preached to the Iroquois. So we too, we are overwhelmed with grace by Christ to go forth and preach to the Gentiles, as it says here, the inscrutable riches of Christ. And so through the intercession of St. John and St. Isaac, may we have the courage to preach the gospel at all times.